Hallo meine Lieben, willkommen zu einer neuen Folge Star Trek Online.
It's very empty in here. I wonder where all the crew members are.
Das ist der Eigentümliche. Was sagen Sie Ihres Scans zu dieser Konsole? Oh. Durch Harmonie sind wir sicher. Ja.
That's what Tarsine Fay always says.
Ihre Leitprinzipien.
Could I have a word?
Natürlich.
I'm feeling a little uneasy. No, not about the possibility of finding a Borg incursion aboard. It's about the comment I made earlier, about being watched. It was meant to be light-hearted, but I'm starting to think we are being monitored. It doesn't help that this room is on lockdown as well, and it looks like the security clearances increase the further along we get. We'll need to get creative again.
Was ist mit diesen Datenknoten, den wir gescannt haben? Wir könnten ihn vielleicht reverse engineeren.
Interesting. Instead of recording in real time, we could recalibrate the output so that the node plays back a recording from the past. At some point, someone aboard this ship must have input the console code needed to unlock this room. Such a recording might also provide us with insight into what happened aboard the Harmony.
Okay. Ich nehme an, diese Knoten sind verschlüsselt.
Spot on! I would need to input some kind of information about the data we want to access in order to bypass any encrypted subroutines. In theory, this would allow me to recalibrate the node's parameters to play back an older recording, though I'd have to reconfigure the node's memory buffer array to act as a hollow matrix interface instead. In other words, the node will no longer function as a recording subsystem, but as a hollow emitter, activated by
einem remodulierten Tricorder. Das könnte funktionieren.
I have to say, even though I'm not pleased about reverse engineering Ethereum technology without authorization, the science behind this is quite exciting. Hopefully, Tassin Fei will understand.
Ich bin sicher, sie wird es verstehen.
If you scan the room for information, I will begin recalibrating the node's parameters.
Lassen Sie uns an die Arbeit gehen. Scannet nach Daten.
Reconfiguring memory array to optimize for hollow emission output. Remodulating tricorders. Integrating environmental data to bypass encryptions. Done! The system is active. Shall we give it a try?
Los geht's.
In that case, please follow me.
Versuchen wir es hier. Das sieht aus wie ein Burgknoten. Ein Vinculum.
This technology looks like a fragment of a larger piece.
Projiziere.
Director Hugh, it is good to finally meet you face to face.
So, you said you needed help.
It worked! So, both Director Hugh and Tassin Fei were aboard the Harmony. What's more, the decay rate of the quantiton particles emitted by these projections placed the recording approximately 1 hour before the Harmony's warp trail signature in Ramizad. It's likely that whatever battle took place out there occurred after the director beamed aboard. Curious. It's a start. However, I'm sure you've noticed that these recording fragments are both static and out of order. The node's harmonic emitters didn't take too kindly to being tampered with. I doubt we'll be able to play out the full animated sequence of events. That said, we should be able to realign the data and unlock the full recording if we place these fragments in the right order.
Überlassen Sie das mir.
Place these fragments in the correct order. What happened first? Right. Tassin Fei welcomed Director Hugh and his bridge officers aboard the Harmony. What happened then?
Nun, ich würde mal sagen, Direktor Hugh hat den Scan einer Technologie durchgeführt.
After Tassin Fei welcomed Director Hugh and his bridge officers aboard, Director Hugh scanned a piece of technology which he considered to be part of a fragment of a larger piece. So, naturally...
Tassin Fei, Direktor Hugh und ihre Offiziere verlassen diesen Raum.
The fragments have been placed in the correct order. First, Tassin Fei welcomed Director Hugh and his team aboard the ship. Then, Director Hugh scanned some technology which was part of a larger piece. Lastly, Tassin Fei asked Director Hugh and his officers to follow her, so they all left the room.
Ja, ja.
We did it! Right. I've fed the data back into the node in the correct order this time. We should be able to play the full sequence of events now. Remember, it's likely to be visually incomplete due to the harmonics malfunction within the node, but the acoustics shouldn't be affected. Shall we?
Dann schmeißen wir mal den Projektor an.
Director Hugh, it is good to finally meet you face to face. I have heard a lot about you and your skill set.
Leader Justine Fay, please call me Hugh. Likewise, I've heard a lot about the Etherians. So, you said you needed help.
Yes, a piece of our technology has been found aboard the Harmony. We may be compromised.
Let's see. You're right. This is control board technology, all right. And yet, the energy signature isn't an exact match. This technology looks like a fragment of a larger piece. We'll need to locate the rest of it before I can make an assessment.
Of course. Our diplomatic quarters are available, should you wish to stay longer for this assessment. Please excuse the furnishing. Under normal circumstances, we redress our rooms for all our guests.
Well, these circumstances are far from normal. But that won't be necessary. We won't be staying long.
I see. How unfortunate. Perhaps another time. In that case, please follow me.
Great teamwork! We've pieced it all together. It looks like Director Hugh and his officers beamed aboard the Harmony to help Tosin Fay identify a piece of...
Kontrollborg. Technologie, yeah.
Exactly. Fortunately, the data node recording also shows the console code used by Tosin Fay to bypass security. I suggest we look out for other consoles along the way. Perhaps we'll be able to use this method again. This probably also won't be the last data node we'll be able to interact with aboard the ship. Right, let's move on.
Ja. Lassen Sie uns den Code in die Konsole eingeben.
So it seems like the starship debris we found earlier might have been control Borg then. If we proceed, the door behind us will likely lock. We'll need to choose a path.
Ich öffne die Tür.
Right behind you. Look! It seems like a struggle may have taken place here. It's one of Director Hugh's officers. We better help them. Shields are still down. We can stabilize them and beam them out.
Bin dran. Pathfinder? Wir haben ja einen medizinischen Notfall.
This isn't good. We need to figure out what happened here. Are you thinking what I'm thinking?
Ja. Ich sehe den Datenknoten.
That's the spirit! Our tricorders are already remodulated and optimized for holographics. If you gather information to bypass the encryption subroutines, I'll get started on the node's parameters.
Ich sehe, was ich finden kann.
I'm feeling less guilty about tampering with Etherian technology. Our allies could be in danger. Recalibrating parameters. Almost there. Got it! The fragments should be ready to play.
I will lead you to our lower decks.
Watch out!
Projiziere jetzt.
What are you doing?
It worked! Unlike the last recording we watched, these initial fragments seem to be in the right order. That means Tassin Fei was leading Director Hugh and his officers to the lower decks of the ship. After that, something or someone attacked them. Well, this part seems right. However, my scans indicate the presence of corrupted data located inside the memory buffers. One of the following fragments does not align with the expected data intervals of the recording. That is to say, one of the recordings of Director Hugh was added later on. It was artificially injected into the data sequence.
Eine gefälschte Aufzeichnung, die in den Datenknoten eingegeben wurde, ja?
Perhaps. We can't rule it out. But that doesn't seem like something the Control Borg would do. It seems a little too calculated, don't you think? In any case, we need to make a choice and identify the artificial fragment so we can remove the corrupted data and access the rest of the recording.
Überlassen Sie das mir.
Which fragment was artificially added to the data node?
Ich denke, es war der Kontrollburg, der auf Hughes Brückenoffizier gefeuert hat.
Right. An unknown construct appeared from beyond the portal and attacked the group. The falsified fragment has been identified. First, Tassin Fei told Director Hugh and his bridge officers that she would lead them to the lower decks of the ship. But then, an unknown construct attacked Director Hugh and his bridge officers from beyond the portal. One of his bridge officers was left wounded. Well done. That's it. It wasn't a control Borg that fired at Director Hugh's officer, but an unknown construct. It seems Etherian? The corrupted data has been removed successfully. The full sequence of events is now ready to play. Unfortunately, the harmonics are acting up again, so expect some fragmentation. The system is active. Let's play its last recording.
Ja, lassen Sie es uns ansehen.
It is a shame you are not staying longer. We have much to discuss. I am curious about the liberated Borg.
Well, the path of a liberated Borg is not easy. Ultimately, it's about giving others a second chance.
Fascinating. Ethereans believe in giving others a second life, like an ascension.
I suppose you could compare it to that. Helping others overcome their past so they can grow.
Indeed. If you follow me, I will lead you to our lower decks.
You said this is where you found the Control Borg boarding party?
Indeed.
Do you know how they were able to bypass your shields?
We are uncertain. Several malfunctions have been reported. No conclusions have been drawn yet.
What are you doing?
This was not supposed to happen.
Get behind me!
My word, so that's what actually happened. It seems like an Etherean security system of some sort attacked Director Hugh and his officers. But by Luca, I cannot imagine why someone would come back afterwards to plant a falsified recording implicating the Borg. It's beyond me.
Es mag eigenartig wirken. Jedoch denke ich, dass die Ethereaner irgendetwas zu verbergen haben. Ich hatte bei ihnen immer ein komisches Gefühl. Ich weiß nicht, ob es ihnen auch so geht.
In any case, Tassine Fei's remark is important. If the Etherean security system has gone rogue, there might be more for us to worry about than Control Borg. Fortunately, this recording also shows the console code used to activate this portal. I suppose it will lead to the lower decks. Here's the code. Will you do the honors?
Sicher. Lassen Sie uns sehen, was vor uns liegt. Nee. Als die Chaos-Monons sich entwickelten, um ihre Latlamat zu werden, fanden die Ethereaner ihre Daseinsberechtigung. Ja. Bestimmung. Ja. Der Äther bietet Know-how. Ja. Mhm. Sie haben sich entschlossen, alles zu kontrollieren. Ja. Einige dieser Wörter können nicht translated werden, übersetzt werden. Ja.
I believe this calls for the Earth saying, "Here goes nothing."
Das erinnert mich sehr stark an ikonianische Portale.
These lower decks sure are darker. A word.
Ist etwas nicht in Ordnung?
Yes. I think so. I feel confident that we are on the right track, especially after seeing both Director Hugh and Tassine Fei pass through here. And yet, I just feel unsettled. There's something not quite right about all of this. Do you feel it too?
Das tue ich. Bleiben Sie dicht bei mir.
Before we move on, I want to make sure you know that you can count on me. Entirely. Last time we underwent a mission together, I told you I wasn't certain I'd be a reliable ally against Borg forces. That's not the case anymore. I feel stronger than ever. Although I still have some reservations, I won't be showing up late to the party this time.
Sie haben meinen Rücken, ich habe Ihren.
Well, I'm glad that's settled. Let's get back to business. This room...
Enthält Datenknoten.
Exactly. You know the drill. If you search the room for information, I'll begin recalibrating the data node's parameters. Those encryption subroutines won't stand a chance.
Also gut. Gehen wir in die Arbeit.
I admit, I'm feeling apprehensive. What we're about to see next could be very telling. Integrating the environmental information. Bypassing encryptions. All done. The fragments are ready to play.
Und dann. Let's go.
Due to bridge, requesting immediate backup.
There has been a grave misunderstanding.
Schon wieder so ein Abwehrmechanismus.
Fret not, Director. We will not let you perish. You shall be conserved and uplifted anew.
Perish? Did they really get into some kind of near-fatal altercation? I can't even imagine it. Tassine Fey is our ally and friend. There must be more to this.
Dem stimme ich zu. Es ist sehr seltsam. Wurde die Daten wieder verändert?
Unfortunately, my scans suggest that the node's memory buffer may be overloaded. Over time, this could lead to slight alterations in recorded material due to deletions or simplifications, for example. So rather than an artificial addition, it seems to be a corruption of the original events. There should be some truth to this scenario, but something's off. We'll need to identify the altered fragment and restore it to its original form in order to play the full sequence of events.
In Ordnung, überlassen Sie das mir.
Which data node fragment was altered? The altered fragment has been identified. Director Hugh raised his weapon at Tassine Fey, but he was not critically wounded. Finally, Tassine Fey lifted his body out of the room. By Lucar, we did it! I was hoping for this outcome. Hopefully this means that Director Hugh was not gravely injured. Let's see what actually happened here. The full sequence is ready to play.
Ich starte das Hologramm.
requesting immediate backup.
There has been a grave misunderstanding.
I can see that. What the hell is going on here?
Our security system is registering you and your officers as Prime Borg.
Tassine Fey, I really don't want to take down your construct. Get them to stand down.
I understand. This won't be necessary. You will be neutralized until we can repair our systems.
Neutralized? Okay, we might be getting lost in translation, but that's not happening.
Fret not, Director. We will not let you perish. You shall be conserved and uplifted anew.
By Lucar, we did it. I was hoping for this outcome. Hopefully this means that Director Hugh was not gravely injured. Let's see what actually happened here. The full sequence is ready to play. That's it. Director Hugh was neutralized by Tassine Fey in an effort to protect him, I suppose? And it looks like his wounded bridge officer made it out of the room. Well, if the director and his officers are registering as enemy Borg to the Etherean security system, then there's no telling how it will register us. After all, you and I have both had dealings with the Borg that have left us changed. Thankfully, the recording once again shows the console code Tassine Fey used to get out of this room. However, perhaps we should stop tampering with the data nodes from now on.
Gute Idee. Was ist mit dieser Neutralisation?
Tassine Fey's choice seems somewhat abrupt. It certainly wouldn't be acceptable by Lucari diplomatic standards. But if she intends to uplift him anew, as she said, perhaps she only meant to conceal Director Hugh's biosigns from her security system.
Ich bin mir da nicht sicher. Das gefällt mir überhaupt nicht, Admiral.
Ethereum customs could be wildly different from mine or yours. Perhaps this is not as transgressive as it seems.
Auch wenn es so sein mag. Der Direktor war im Recht, nach Hilfe zu rufen.
I agree. Let's input the console code so we can move on and beam in some backup. The coordinates might be a little off as we are unfamiliar with the Harmony's exotic interdimensional topography. Beam-in could be delayed and the exact arrival position unknown.
Lassen Sie uns für das Beste hoffen.
Admiral Kumarke to the Riskava. We are requesting backup aboard the Harmony. Director Hugh is down. I repeat, Director Hugh is down.
Admiral Kumarke, this is Ensign Varunte reporting in. We have notified both of your crews. We're struggling to get a lock on your position. We'll beam someone down as soon as we can.
Copy that, Varunte. Right. Let's not waste a moment.
Also gut. Die Technologie erscheint mir mehr und mehr ikonianisch. Dieses Konstrukt.
That's Director Hugh's other officer.
Ja,
Let's stabilize them and beam them out.
bestätigt. Pathfinder, wir haben einen weiteren Verletzten. Direkt auf die Krankenstation beamen.
Watch out! Control Borg ahead!
Feuer!
No match for us.
Aber wo kamen die her?
Unsurprisingly, this room is also on lockdown. We'll need to figure out how to move on without a recording of Tarsin Fei's console code. We could take a swift look around. Any insight into the Etherians could be valuable to us.
Dann lassen Sie uns anfangen.
What an incredible astrometrics laboratory. I never imagined Etherians to be galactic strategists, though. Perhaps they are less quick to trust others than I had originally thought. This star chart shows an array of interlinked gateways placed across a vast number of alternate dimensions. Fascinating. I haven't seen many other species use gateways as a means of transportation.
Außer den Nikonianern, nicht wahr? Das heißt, dass sie die Möglichkeit hätten... Schauen wir uns weiter um. Nach dem großen kybernetischen Angriff die Doktrin zu erweitern, militärische Taktiken war nicht länger besorgt über irgendetwas. Als solche, die nicht wieder ins Licht. Der Rest ist unübersetzbar.
Cybernetic onslaught. It seems these military texts describe the battle the Etherians fought against the Borg, as well as other civilizations. This retelling is much less grim than I would have imagined. Didn't they say the Borg decimated their entire universe?
Ja, in gewisser Weise sicherlich.
Perhaps the military texts hold the key to our exit.
Ich habe ein ganz mieses Gefühl. Hä? Was? Ich habe doch keine Ahnung. Ich habe nicht aufgepasst. Hä? Oh oh. So, Moment. Hier.
That's it. Well done.
Durch Einigkeit sind wir strong.
Lead the way.